Hyundai are the world's first manufacturer to take a fuel cell electric vehicle into mass production. As global leaders in this new and exciting technology, we appreciate that for many people, a fuel cell electric vehicle, or FCEV, which is powered by hydrogen, doesn't actually mean a great deal. In this film, we want to unravel the science and answer some of the fundamental questions about hydrogen and fuel cells, and why we believe it is the technology and fuel for today and the future. So what is hydrogen, and where does it come from?
Hydrogen is the most common element you can find anywhere in the universe. It's in the trees, it's in the water, it's in the human being.
In fact, 75% of the universe mass is based on hydrogen.
With hydrogen being the most abundant chemical element in the universe, there is a plentiful supply. So how is hydrogen converted or farmed to enable it to be used in a fuel cell?
As of today, most of the hydrogen is produced from fossil feedstocks, such as natural gas through steam methane reforming.
Steam methane reforming in natural gas works when steam of up to 1,000 degrees Celsius reacts at pressure with the methane to produce predominantly hydrogen. Hydrogen fuel produced this way creates up to 30% less CO2 emissions than using traditional fossil fuels, and is already happening on a large scale.
In the long run, hydrogen will be produced from renewable sources, such as wind power, biomass, for example.
북유럽 같은 경우에는 그 풍력이나 그다음에 태양광을 이용하여 남는 잉여 전력을 수소를 만드는 데 사용하고 있습니다. 그리고 이 수소는 곧 운송인 연료전지 차량으로 다시 환원돼서 이용할 수 있고, 그 환원된 에너지를 이용하여 생성된 물은 또다시 수소를 만들 수 있는 그런 원동력이 되는 것입니다.
As more fuel cell electric vehicles are produced and the demand for hydrogen increases, so commercial production will continue to expand. With a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle taking just 2 to 3 minutes to fill, this will lead to the refueling infrastructure across Europe rapidly improving.
So if you take a look at Germany, for example, currently there are only 15 public hydrogen fueling stations. And the challenge is to scale this up. The aim is to have by 2015 50 fueling stations, and these 50 fueling stations are strategically located in a way that people will be able for the very first time to travel with a fuel cell car throughout the country.
Countries such as Norway and Denmark are also emulating this approach, and it is predicted that by 2020 there will be over 400 refueling stations all across Europe. So how does a fuel cell work? Put simply, a hydrogen fuel cell is a device that converts hydrogen into electricity. Hydrogen is one of the simplest elements in the universe, consisting of one proton and one electron. On Earth, it occurs as H2, two atoms of hydrogen joined to form one molecule. For the fuel cell to work, it needs two feeds, hydrogen and oxygen, which have an electrochemical reaction, with the only byproduct being water vapor. So how does a fuel cell generate power? There are three main components in a fuel cell. The first is the proton exchange membrane, or PEM, that lets protons pass through but not electrons. Then we have the anode and cathode, which allow electrons to flow in and out of the fuel cell. To start the reaction, hydrogen is directed into the anode, where, as mentioned, the proton and electron split, with the electrons travelling up the anode, while the protons pass through the PEM. The flow of electrons from the anode to the cathode creates an electrical current and power. In the cathode, the electrons are reunited with the protons and mixed with oxygen from the air. This reaction creates just heat and water vapor, meaning the only emission is H2O. multiple fuel cells are combined into a fuel cell stack to magnify this reaction, producing more energy for greater power and longer range. Electricity generated from the fuel cell stack is first transmitted to the inverter and then to the motor, propelling the vehicle.
The resources in the future will come down. We have to think about alternative technologies like the fuel cell.
I'm sure that hydrogen vehicles will become a part of the propulsion concepts in future.
What is brilliant with fuel cell is you using this pure hydrogen, producing electricity in your car for your mobility, and at the end you get water. There is no more sustainable mobility than this one. It is enabling at any time CO2-free mobility.
At Hyundai, we have spent 15 years developing hydrogen fuel cell technology to establish ourselves as an industry leader in the field of eco-technology. This is an undertaking that will continue now and in the future as we help to play a major role in the world's environmental protection.